Morning everyone, time to get the next day underway in the Shine Shack electrical here. First thing we have to do today is head over to Home Depot. We've got one minor problem and we need to pick up some extra parts today. So let me come inside and I'll show you what's going on today. If you come inside, you know, I bought a box of the recessed lights, and if you look inside, you will see an orange ring in there, and that's just a protector for the screw-in socket there. And each one of these lights is supposed to have one of those inserts in it, as you can see over here. But I had to buy 7 of these, so I had to buy a loose light, a loose fixture that wasn't in a box. And you'll see this seventh one, I didn't notice at the time, but it does not have the insert inside of it. So what I need to do now is go back down to Home Depot. I've taken a couple pictures of it and show the Home Depot return tick what happened here, and then we should be able to find that insert right on the aisle there. And I'm looking inside, and it looks like the kind of thing that maybe uses I'm not sure, maybe a wing nut or something to secure that in there. But anyway, the other thing we have to do too is I've got to pick up more of these cable clamps here. And these are a 2-piece thing. This nut comes off here and it slides to the side where I'm going to be hooking up the power in here. I have to put one of these for the inlet of the cable and one of them for the outlet. You just can't run that wiring into the little box up there and have it sort of loose. It has to be secured, and the wire has to be stapled down about 8 inches from where it enters and exits the fixtures. So it should be an easy matter to, we got plenty of wire outside here to get the hookups done today, and we should be able to accomplish that pretty easily. But we need to go get the proper parts. So, all right, everybody, that is today's agenda. So I'm ready to get in the car and head down there and do battle with the return tick. So we'll see you when we get back. We're back from Home Depot and got what we needed. It turns out I had the wrong size fixture. You know, I bought a six pack of the can lights that I needed, and I needed an extra because I have an odd number 7, but I grabbed the wrong one. So I actually took this one down now and I put in the proper one, and you can see the spacing is great and everything, so we should be good to go. I want to talk about doing some of the hookups here because these things are kind of interesting in the way they work. You come up now and see it, what you do, you can't just feed the cable into the side of the box. In other words, you can't just punch out one of these knockout ports here and blow your cable, and you need to have a cable clamp that goes to the side that can clamp that cable once it's in and hold it so it can't be pulled out accidentally. Suppose somebody was able to go up on the crawl space here and they stepped on one of the yellow wires. You want to make sure it's not going to pull out of the box. You want to make sure it pulls the whole box, or else you could leave a dangerous short situation. So you feed it in there, and they have these quick connects now, which is really nice. I just stripped back an inch or so on the feed cable here, and I stripped off the ends, and you keep the blacks together, which are the hot. And then you have the neutrals there, which are the white, and then of course you have the ground there. And then you can sort of stuff them back in the box there and tighten up your clamps and put the cover back on. And it's good to go. And since this is the end of the line, we don't have an outfeed up here. This is just the one by the bathroom. So we will just stuff that in, clamp it good, and move on to the one down here that has an in and an out. Okay? Boxes, the recessed lighting cans are really nice, and they're so much different than the way they used to be made years ago. You can see that on this side we have the left-hand feed here, which is going to go over to a junction box coming from the circuit breaker panel over there. And this will complete the 3 lights that we're going to be doing on this side. We have this one behind me, that one by the bathroom, and we have this one. So, and out the left side here will be the junction box, and this is the connection coming over from the can light behind me here. And it's nice, you feed them in here and they have these really kind of nice new style connectors where this is the black, which is hot of course, and it has room inside. You just strip these wires back a little bit like the black, and then you put it down that, jam it in that little hole in there, and of course I'll jam 2 in because they're hooked in series here. You know, the one for the in and the one for the out here. And they make up real nice, and then we'll push them back in the box, and I'll show you a picture of what they look like once they're all jammed in there. Okay, once the hot, the neutral, and the ground are done. Okay, there it is, and you can see how nice and neat they make up now. You don't have any black uninsulated from the hot hanging out, any copper showing bare, and same thing for the neutral, the whites there. And of course the copper doesn't matter if it's out, but then it's an easy matter of just pushing that whole assembly into the box like that. The cable clamps are to be secured on the sides, and then it's just a matter of taking the metal cover, and I'll grab that down here so it slipped off the ground. And that is so nice how that secures in there, and a little tab goes in on the side just like that, and that closes up really nice. And now you have your in and out, and you have a nice legal can here that inspector will love. And remember, within 8 inches of the recessed light, you have to have wire staples to hold these feed wire in and out wires down, or else you could pull them off walking around. So people have to be very careful walking above ceilings and things, especially where there's recessed lights, because you might rip the wiring out and cause a short circuit and a fire. So, all right, so that completes this side circuit. I'm going to do the other wiring on the other side. Then I'll come back and do the junction box connections. Then we'll pop some lights in and we'll give her a test. Got all the cans wired up. This circuit on the right side, the north side of the building, starts at this can in the northwest corner, or northeast corner actually. Comes west, hits that can there, comes through, comes around here over the top, hits this can, and this runs right over to this can here. Don't worry about lazy loops and other stuff on top. Nobody's better to have it a little loose than a little tight. And the finished detail will be come back and pound some wire staples in to keep these wires from moving in these lights. Because these lights are on stringers that can slide back and forth there. So let me say a word about working on a ladder too. And of course, safety and safety glasses are always key. But a lot of people, you'll see them on job sites and stuff, and instead of understanding how a ladder is made, not in terms of how to use it, but how to use it effectively, they'll go up and down and get their tools. They'll put them in their pocket. They'll, oh, I need a screwdriver, get down off the ladder, go get it. If you see the way this ladder's set up, and I really don't need a hammer right now, so I can sort of drop that through. But you can see everything I need to do for electrical wiring, so I don't have to get up and down. I have my basic Dickies or wire cutters here for cutting the heavy cable. I have the box cutter here for cutting back the insulation from the ends to expose the hot, the neutral, and the ground. And I have my wire strippers here with different sizes, and these ones send the boss ballistic because they're kind of screwed up and they're offset and everything, but I kind of like that he gets pissed off at that kind of stuff. And of course I have a screwdriver for tightening the clamps here that hold the cable clamps in. So it's been pretty easy, but really having an effective organization up top side on the ladder saves a lot of time, because that was probably a grand total of about a half hour to wire these 4 cans on this side, because when you're organized, things go very quickly. Well, all remains to do now is to change out, to dump these old junction boxes, which I was never really happy about. We got one for the south side there. It's going to power light 1, light 2, light 3 by the bathroom door. And then we got another junction box here on the north end that carries cans 1, 2, 3, and 4 in this direction. So we're going to put the junction boxes in a logical location up near the first can lights in the series. Then we'll be able to put the bulbs in and give a test. I'll be surprised if we don't have an open circuit somewhere in here, because we have a lot of push connectors, and sometimes you think you get them seated good, but you actually don't. Okay, so on with the show. Guys, the day is just about done. Let's see where we stand now. As you knew, we got all the wiring done. We were talking about junction boxes. But the real good news is this afternoon, and pardon me, it's starting to get a little dark, and it's late, and I am really beat to hell here trying to get a little light that we have. You know, you can't have wire connectors out in the open, right? So if you run a line from the circuit breaker, it's got to go within some type of enclosed protective box, and they're usually metal. But I thought to myself, why do I have to run to a junction box? These lights themselves act as junction box when you take the in feed in and then the out feed. So I just switched the line over to run in from the circuit breaker box to that one. And that's the first one on the string. It lights these 3, and I did the same thing over here. I ran from the circuit breaker box into the side right there, thus providing power for these 4. Put the bulbs in. And you know what, guys? Cut the lights on, and there we go. For the first time since I moved here, probably 2.5 years ago almost, this place now has adequate light inside, and it's looking more and more like it's going to be a beautiful in-law unit here. So, you know, it was a great weekend, right? Just to recap, we ran the line for the hot water heater. We mounted the termination box up here. We have that running over to the circuit breaker box here, and that's ready to be terminated. We have the red, you know, we just have it sitting there. We have the neutral here ready to go, and we got the ground ready to go here anytime. So, oh, Rosie's scary, that panel. Nah, not really. Just always be careful. If you're working yourself, use an electrician, okay? Don't be like the Rosie girl. We changed out all the lights. We got all the lights mounted. We have a quick disconnect for the still now, so we don't have a lot of BS when we gotta move the still out of here. It's a simple matter of just disconnecting there, and she's all set to go. And I couldn't be happier. I think the boss is going to be happier too. We might have to turn this upside down. Just shift it onto this side over here. That way the prongs line up at the bottom as opposed to having it turned upside down. So, but it's all good. We'll just sit that there temporarily. So, yeah, I could not be happier with the progress. And yeah, this place took a giant leap forward today, and when you combine it with the lighting in here, you know, we got the exhaust fan up there, and then the overhead light. We're going to have a light for the, we have to terminate that into a junction box. Don't be fooled for that one too. We can't have just a twisted off ends with wire nuts on there for that termination. But in bathrooms, you have to make sure that the light is on a different circuit than a GFI. Imagine if you dropped a hair dryer or something into the tub while somebody was bathing or something like that, and your GFI tripped, and your bathroom was now plunged into the dark because your overhead light was on that circuit too. So the code demands that you run an independent light circuit for the bathroom light, and that is exactly what we will do, and it'll have its own switch here. So, well, I'm going to call it a hell of a productive weekend. It was a busy 2 days, but we still had time to sex around a bit too and be a little vampy, and that's all part of the fun too. All work and no play. It ain't a Rosie you guys want to be hanging with. So thanks for being here this weekend, and more good stuff is coming ahead. Why in the hell not, right? Ah.